Ready?
How does it look like? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, welcome to the 4th episode of Pillowtalk. I'm here today with Angie. She is the founder of Creative Kids. And I think we met, the first time we met, but it was a really long time ago. I used to be a student here at Creative Kids. And had a lot of creative adventures and explorations here as a child. And today I'm back here again in the studio just to understand more about their values as a place where they teach art education, and also about how Angie created this passion project of herself. So what was actually the first thing that really made you start this journey with kids?
I think it all started with my unhappy childhood.
Yeah.
So I grew up kind of feeling quite isolated. Although there are a lot of people around.
Right.
I really felt the need to escape from reality. So in the process of drawing and just making things, I felt like I entered a different world. So when I grew up, I really wanted to do something for children who might have my kind of feeling and experience, to create a way for them to connect to themselves and connect with the world in imaginative ways.
Okay. What would you say are the main sort of values that you put into this art education, that is something that you really believe in or something that you really push? Because through my experience here, I've been to a couple of, more sort of traditional sense of art education where a lot of the times they tell you, okay, like they have something in front of you and you have to draw exactly what it looks like. But I feel like at Creative Kids, it's nearly the opposite, where they really champion the idea of individualism and how everyone is unique in the way that they express themselves. And so throughout my experience here as a child, I really got to have that space and that freedom of understanding myself, and also as a process explore different ways of self-expression, I guess. So what do you think are like the main sort of values that you really try to push?
There's a lot of value in the traditional way of teaching art,
Right.
the way you describe it,
Yeah.
because in those ways it builds your technique. So that's the first thing. We believe a lot in developing the students' mastery over techniques. But there's another theme that we put a lot of emphasis on, and that's thinking.
Okay.
I suppose that's the part that captures the students' hearts, is we respect their thinking, individual thinking. So perhaps one of the greatest values is our respect for our students' ability to think for themselves. We don't need to think for them, even if they are little kids. Another reason why we do that is because we believe that children are perfectly capable. Their thinking may be immature, but it doesn't mean that their thinking is not valid. Their thinking is just as valuable to them at their stage of life as it is our thinking at our stage of life. So when children feel respected, their ideas acknowledged, then we create a space for them to develop their thinking and not just techniques. But it's like, when you walk, you need 2 feet, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot just walk with one leg. So
Right.
it has to be a balanced use of both legs. So we do develop thinking and techniques to teach.
Yeah. So I think throughout that process, a lot of children find their own way of expressing themselves, whether or not it's from different techniques, or you give the space for them sort of as a safe haven to explore how they'd like to express themselves, or different mediums that you expose them to in order for them to find that voice within themselves. And I think that applies to all different age groups, because I guess you teach from really young kids to teens, and I think that system and that value, that's the value of the studio, is that it gives everyone a place to express themselves without any sort of judgment or sort of anything that's attached to I guess stifling anyone's creativity. I still remember when I first came in for class, you would always emphasize how the teachers are not able to touch our work. I still remember that moment where there's so many moments where I want to ask the teacher for help, or I want to ask them to please, can you help me draw this, and I want to make it look good. But I think now, after going through architecture school and understanding that you're fully sort of capable of however you'd like to express yourself, and there's no criteria, or there's no there's no what looks good and what doesn't anyway. And that moment for me was really special, and I guess it's still something that you try to continue to do nowadays. Do you have any thoughts on why you find this so important, and why you don't want, in a sense, the teachers to dominate too much of the children's work, in a sense?
I think it has to do with what we value more. Do we value the process or the product more?
Yeah.
I think in most cases, in other areas of learning, in academic pursuits, we often go for the product, and we assign a grade, we assess, evaluate the product. But in here, we try very hard to convince the parents and the teacher and the children that the process is just as important as the product. I understand that a lot of teachers are under pressure to produce products that the parents will be pleased with.
Yeah.
Because the parents do not get involved with the creative process. So they can only judge our efforts, our value by what we produce.
Yeah.
So I fully understand the pressure that our teachers are having, and the temptation to tamper with the students' work. And there are times when the students, like what you just described, that I wish the teacher would just help me with the migration. Yeah, but then at the end of the day, what it results in is that a piece of work that is not totally genuinely produced.
Yeah.
And I think it's more important that you have the ownership of the learning process, you have the ownership of the art piece that you can call your own. It really says a lot about honesty, because if you tamper with the students' work and you present it to the parents, it's like you and the students are not being very honest, right? You're cheating the wrong. And that's not good. Another way is you are saying that the students' work isn't good enough.
Right.
So you have to correct it. Then it's not an affirmative way of building creativity. Because creativity has so much to do with experimentation and failure and what we call here the happy mistakes. Every mistake the teacher go and correct it, and the student doesn't have the benefit of learning where he or she makes a mistake and improve upon it.
Yeah, I think that as a process is exactly what I experienced in the UK. And it's quite rare that in a setting like Hong Kong you get a space like this for self-exploration. Also trying to find a way to actually discover what interests you. I think Creative Kids is a place where you ask us to ask questions and we talk about this. Instead of giving the right answers, questions are a lot more valued. Where did you get that this system from? Because I guess you grew up here. And, what made you really? Because sometimes I feel like this place is so special at the same time, but it's also trying really hard to go against the tide sometimes. And I feel like education system in Hong Kong very much sort of standardized, and you're supposed to have the right answer for everything. Do you sometimes feel sort of frustrated when you're always trying to go against the tide and pave the way for sort of art education for the next generation?
Well, I don't want to present the whole thing like it's a very
right. Yeah.
I don't want to glorify it.
Yeah.
It all comes from my conscience, because I grew up here. I went to the States, state for education for some years.
Yeah.
And then I was convinced that creativity didn't have anything to do with intelligence. Much, not that much. Not primarily due to intelligence, but it has to do with the culture and the system in which we raise children. So when I came back to Hong Kong many years ago, it was just a very genuine desire to just do something for the children. I don't want them to go through what I did. My childhood, my adolescent days were very frustrating. But operating the studio, although it's in many ways it's against the tide, I wouldn't say it's frustrating. I very much want to communicate with the parents to affirm them that their children are fine. They may be scribbling a lot.
Yeah.
They may not be creating realism as we adults expect.
Yeah.
They may not be getting a lot of good grades from their visual art subject in school. But it doesn't mean their child is not creative.
Right.
We need to really believe in the child's potential. And I really think as long as you believe in him or her and give her a chance, it will come.
Yeah.
We really, sometimes as parents, as teachers, we tend to be over-controlling. But I think what makes this place so loved by the students is because we are often very open-ended.
Right.
Allowing a lot of diversity, uniqueness, craziness.
Yeah. Definitely agree. It's always so much fun to work here after school. It's like sort of hangout spot with friends as well. A lot of friends hang out here and work at the same time. What do you think is like the most rewarding part so far?
I think the most rewarding part is the relationship.
Yeah.
Like people like you, like almost every week I have alumni who come back to visit me. It's the relationship that we have built over the years. I mean, kids they literally grew up here.
Yeah.
Even in a normal school, maybe the most you will see them will be 6 years, right? Primary 1 to 6. But with here, so many of our students are here for over 10 years.
Yeah. That's true.
And now I have grown-up students who have their children.
Right. Oh, really?
Yes. I'm the great aunt. So it's the most gratifying part is the relationship and the trust and the love. One thing about being open-ended doesn't mean it's aimless.
Right.
We do ask our students to identify problems, formulate their own goals, aims, objectives, and all that, and then they will try to ideate, think of ideas, and solutions to solve problems. So it's not like a laissez-faire, aimless, indulgent place. It's not that at all. Actually, it's very disciplined.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a constructive type of discipline. I think the open-ended part is with how the solutions should be.
Right.
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
And we are really open that our students will come up with much better ideas than teachers. Because it's about the future. The future belongs to you guys. So if our students' solutions are not better than ours, then the future is not too bright.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've always been meaning to say this, but thank you so much for playing such a huge part in my sort of creative endeavors.
Actually, I should be saying thank you to our students and parents who allow us to do all kinds of experimental approaches, projects. We are really exploring it. I think what I'm really grateful is the trust. I think 9 out of 10 parents do not really ask, what are you teaching today? Or what are you teaching this month? They just trust us. There are students who takes a long time and some who takes a shorter time to accomplish something. So the good part is that we allow students to develop their ideas at their own pace, in their own way.
Okay. Thank you so much. Again, I think coming here has definitely helped me a lot through architecture school. And also, I think played a huge part in realizing my, let's say, interest in architecture in the first place, because I was actually going to apply to business school, if you didn't know. I actually did apply to business school, and then realized like that was completely not for me. And I think having this place as an anchor to look back on and look at the sort of projects that I've done here throughout all these years, and ask myself what are the sort of career options that I have in the way that I like to express myself. And I think this place definitely means a lot to me because of allowing me to express the way I do, and also to realize my dreams and aspirations. So I've always been meaning to say thank you to you and all the teachers here. They're doing such a great job in nurturing the next generation of creatives. I'm so grateful to have you here today.
Well, thank you for telling us.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Actually, creativity doesn't have to happen only in art, design, architecture related field. It happens in
Yeah.
sectors.
True. So,
Even if you were to continue in business, you'll be a creative business.
that's true.
Yeah, it's like cross
Yeah.
curricular, interdisciplinary way of